So the OSR also has like this kind of tonal difference to modern D&D. And I'm not going to say modern gaming because there's a lot of modern games that are, different tones or whatever. But as far as Dungeons and Dragons, right? So the old school, the adventures tended to be more horror or survival fantasy. So like you'd go into a dungeon and it's like you're there to survive and get out. Or there's horrific things that are coming at you. And there's all these weird things that are happening. So weird fantasy, Lovecraftian stuff. Just very horrific. The beholders and things like that. There was very little of the baking cookies. You know how much I love the baking cookie sessions.
I remember the first time that we ran into a Gelatinous Cube. It was freaking horrific. And now you think Gelatinous Cube is like,
The cutesy. So I love the campaign Out of the Abyss. There is a Gelatinous Cube that befriends the party. And it's interesting. It's funny and cool to think about in concept for like a cartoon. Like this Gelatinous Cube, it didn't dissolve the eyes of one creature. So it has the eyes floating with the dangling like tendrils of the eyes. So it has eyes and it's called Glabbagool, right? And it doesn't talk or anything. It's just like Gelatinous Cube with eyes, with little googly eyes. And again, funny and cutesy for a cartoon, but for a full-on D&D campaign to be the entire rest of the campaign with the party, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, Gelatinous Cubes were really fearsome, and now look at this. In 5th edition, you have that. You know what I mean? Like, that's your Gelatinous Cube. It's the cutesy Glabbagool. So there are some horrific elements in the earlier adventures of 5th edition. But throughout the few years that 5th edition has been in place, they've gone away from that, and it's become more and more just like, furry fantasy, cutesy fantasy, baking cookies, and all this other stuff. Yeah, and when you look at that, if you look at the book, Tales from the Infinite Staircase. Wait, no, that's an old school adventure. What is it called? Citadel. Tales from the Radiant Citadel. Sorry. Please don't kill me, guys. Infinite Staircase was a great adventure. Okay, I get it. That was a great old school adventure. My bad. So the Radiant Citadel, Tales from the Radiant Citadel, is the 5th edition one. Looking at the art in the interior, it is, if you open that book next to an old school adventure, the tonal difference is so stark. It's like, you wouldn't even think it's the same game. You wouldn't even think it's like the same type of game.
What was that you sent us on Discord the other day from Dungeons and Dragons, where they had like the cutesy little dragons, like a baby dragon? It's like
rainbow beholders and cutesy little dragons, and
this cutesy little dragon with rainbows coming out of its mouth or whatever, and but it will burn your soul or some, like, trying to be funny.
And the cutie cartoony beholder and all that stuff. None of that was around, man, back in the old school days. And those creatures were respected because they were fearsome, they were horrifying. And
so I we have our adventure titles in our Trello, and I don't know if you've seen it yet, but
the Panda one, yeah, of course I've seen the Panda one. I see it every time, and it annoys me.
So it's gone from, but that's basically what D&D has done, right?
Pandemonium,
Pandemonium,
right? Yeah,
it's gone from Pandemonium to Panda-monium, and then that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it really, I mean, it's such a difference, and I think part of the reason people are going back to the old school, we've talked about some of the tropes, mechanics, and design sensibilities of the old school, and some of them are very attractive to some players, and some of them are not, like the level drain or the player skill being a little bit too much sometimes and things like that. And people put up with that, I think, partially because the tone of the game is really what they're looking for. I mean, the mechanics only go so far, right, as into your experience. I think the tone of the game really is, because it is a role-playing game, you're immersing yourself in it. Like, I mean, you just mentioned it yourself. We were so afraid of that white. We were so afraid of that Gelatinous Cube. That feeling, that immersion was great. And I think the tone of the OSR is what really attracts people to the OSR.